Hey guys, it's Cassandra, your club dietitian, and I wanted to share some information with you today about inflammation and specifically how certain foods can trigger or promote inflammation inside our body. There are 5 different types of foods that have been shown to potentially trigger inflammation inside your body. The first category is added sugar, and that is referring to specifically sucrose and high fructose corn syrup. Foods that typically contain added sugar or high fructose corn syrup is going to be soda, candy, unfortunately, a lot of types of yogurt, salad dressings, different condiments, junk food, canned fruit, and juice. Even if it says 100% juice or not from concentrate, it can still have added sugar. The next category of foods that can trigger inflammation are those foods that contain trans fats. Now, trans fats are listed as partially hydrogenated oils in the ingredients list. So it's really important to look at the ingredients of the foods and the drinks that you are consuming, because a food label could say 0 grams of trans fats, but in the ingredients list, it could say partially hydrogenated oil. So that means that there are trace amounts of trans fats, but nonetheless, there are still trans fats in the product. Food manufacturers are slowly beginning to completely take out the partially hydrogenated oils, but there are still items that still have trans fat present. And these are vegetable shortening, certain types of microwavable popcorn, certain types of margarines, fried food and fast food, bakery items, non-dairy coffee creamers, cake frosting, a lot of types of crackers. You just want to be sure by looking at the ingredients list. Frozen pizzas. It's really important to know that trans fats are associated with a number of negative health effects. So it's imperative to look at the ingredients list and avoid partially hydrogenated oils the best that you can. Refined carbohydrates can promote inflammatory changes. Refined carbohydrates are white flour, white bread, white rice, pastries, sodas, which also have added sugar, cakes and cookies and desserts, which could also have trans fats, certain types of breakfast cereals as well. The next category that can trigger inflammation is actually the category of alcohol. Alcohol over the recommended standard intake for the day can in fact trigger inflammation as well. And finally, processed meats can also play a role in inflammation. Consuming processed meat that's very high in salt has been associated with a number of health conditions, including heart disease, diabetes, stomach cancer, and colon cancer. So limiting processed meats would be my recommendation. Processed meats are considered sausage, bacon, ham, Spam, smoked meat, and beef jerky. And what really sets processed meats apart is the process of curing and the added salt. Here are my tips on replacing the pro-inflammatory foods. Swap out sodas, energy drinks, and juices for water, unsweetened seltzer, or create your own fruit-infused water. Choose coffee with flavored coffee beans rather than adding your own flavored powdered coffee creamer. Even dairy-based coffee creamers does usually have a lot of added sugar. So when you get flavored coffee beans, you still have flavor in your coffee with a lot less of the added sugar. Get plain yogurt rather than yogurt that has the fruit on the bottom, because the fruit on the bottom is like in this jelly situation where there's usually a lot of added sugar to that. So I would recommend getting plain yogurt and adding your own fresh fruit or even frozen fruit for an extra fruity kick, which also provides antioxidants and phytochemicals, vitamins, minerals, and fiber. Make your own pizza at home so that you have control over all of the ingredients. Swap out stick margarine, lard, and shortening for olive oil or flaxseed oil, depending on what temperature you're cooking with. Purchase your own popcorn kernels and pop them on the stove rather than purchasing the microwavable popcorn. Choose brown rice, wild rice, or even cauliflower rice in place of white rice. Or just be mindful of the portion of white rice, white bread, and white pasta that you are consuming. Expand the variety of whole grains in your diet by trying something new. You can try quinoa, you can try buckwheat, there's barley, there's bulgur, which sounds weird, but it's actually a whole grain. There's something called millet for a unique side dish. And there you guys have it. Those are my tips for swapping out high inflammatory foods for those foods that have more anti-inflammatory properties.